The T squad is Kirsty. You know what time it is. We dropping the tea, sipping that tea. Hey, receipts on the beat, we got the inside steep. Spill it, sip it, serve it, come get it with me. It's dropping the tea, dropping the tea.
Hey T Squad, it's Kirsty, and today we're diving into the darkest corners of human nature. We all love a little mystery, but this isn't just curiosity, it's morbid curiosity. There's a reason we can't look away from the monsters who walk among us. They look normal, they smile, they charm, and then they destroy. But what makes a person cross that line? What twists a human being into a predator? Tonight, we're going deep into the chilling stories of four men who became nightmares in human form. Ted Bundy, Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and Dennis Rader, better known as BTK. These aren't ghost stories. They're real. And they remind us that evil doesn't hide in the shadows sometimes. It lives right next door. Let's sip the darkest tea of them all, the charmer Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy wasn't the monster people expected. He didn't hide in dark alleys, he smiled in daylight. He was educated, clean-cut, charming everything a killer isn't supposed to be. But that mask of normalcy? It hid something unspeakable. Bundy used his good looks and fake injuries to lure women into helping him, then abducted and murdered them. For him, it wasn't about lust or even violence. It was about control, the act of possession. The feeling of playing God. He once said, "You feel the last bit of breath leaving their body. You're looking into their eyes. A person in that situation is God." And that tells you everything you need to know about the monster inside. Bundy's arrogance was his downfall. He defended himself in court, thinking he could charm the jury the same way he charmed his victims. But charisma doesn't erase bite marks, and those marks sealed his fate. On January 24th, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in Florida's electric chair. Outside the prison, people cheered. But even in death, his story continues to haunt the killer clown Wayne Gacy. Now, if Bundy was the charmer, Gacy was the illusionist, a literal clown who hid behind grease paint and smiles. By day, he ran a business, entertained kids, and shook hands with politicians. By night, he turned his suburban home into a graveyard. He called himself Pogo the Clown, and somehow, that's made his story even more horrifying. He buried 26 bodies in his crawl space, 33 victims in total. His crimes exposed one of the most chilling truths of all. Predators often hide in plain sight. Gacy was the man everyone trusted, and that's exactly why nobody saw him coming. When police finally uncovered what was beneath his floorboards, they said the smell of death was overwhelming. But what really stank was the facade he'd built, the idea that evil always looks other. Gacy was executed by lethal injection in 1994, still claiming he was innocent. But the evidence said otherwise, and the crawl space told its own story. The Milwaukee cannibal Jeffrey Dahmer. Then there's Jeffrey Dahmer, a name that still sends shivers down spines. Unlike Bundy or Gacy, Dahmer didn't kill for attention or dominance. His motive was lonelier and sicker. He wanted to keep his victims with him forever. His crimes blurred the line between horror and obsession. He murdered, dismembered, and even consumed his victims. And yet, somehow, he still seemed human, awkward, soft-spoken, even remorseful. That contradiction is part of what makes his story so disturbing. Police had multiple chances to stop him, including one horrifying moment when they literally returned a victim to Dahmer's apartment. That mistake cost a life and exposed systemic bias that let him keep killing. When police finally opened his fridge, they found human remains inside. That image, that single fridge, became a symbol of everything we fear about what someone could be hiding right next door. Dahmer was sentenced to life in prison, but in 1994, another inmate made sure justice was final, the family man Dennis Rader, BTK. And then, there's Dennis Rader, the Boy Scout leader, the church president, the family man. Also the BTK killer, bind, torture, kill. For 30 years, he lived a double life, a rule-following city worker by day, and a meticulous murderer by night. His first murders were the Otero family, a crime so brutal it terrified Wichita for decades. Rader wasn't caught because he slipped up, he was caught because his ego couldn't shut up. After years of silence, He wrote to police asking if a floppy disk could be traced. They lied and said no. He sent it. They traced it. That one arrogant mistake ended his freedom. When he finally confessed, his emotionless tone chilled the courtroom. He wasn't remorseful, he was proud. That's what makes BTK one of the most terrifying killers of all. He didn't just want to kill. He wanted credit. So what connects all of them? Ego, control, the illusion of normalcy. Bundy, Gacy, Dahmer, Rader, four faces of evil wearing human masks. But in all this darkness, there's one thing that deserves the spotlight: the victims. Because the point of remembering these cases isn't to glorify the killers, it's to never forget the lives they stole, the families they destroyed, and the investigators who refused to give up. Our fascination with killers might come from a need to understand evil. But what really matters is remembering the light that was lost because of it. So stay curious, but stay cautious, and as always, keep sipping that tea safely. Like and subscribe, Tea Squad, and if your morbid curiosity isn't quite satisfied, check out my video, The Gravity of Has-Been Hotel, an ultimate overview linked in the description. Stay safe, stay smart, and don't forget, evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a smile.